can look at that and say the association to Beyonce is when he started to receive the 16, 17 Grammys since he's been with Beyonce.
18 and 22, damn.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Now I can kind of see why he's probably not claiming it, because
I don't do interviews just saying, hey, Jay-Z, give me your money, or I'm coming at the Jay-Z for his money. I never did that.
Jay-Z impregnated a 15-year-old. It would be over.
If you talk to him personally, that's his son.
You think that's his son?
Yeah.
This is the story Jay-Z hoped would never go public. But now, the entire world is watching. A man named Rymir Satterthwaite has stepped forward with a claim that could shake the very foundation of hip-hop royalty. He says Jay-Z is his biological father, and he's got paperwork, timelines, and a relentless will to prove it.
I still can't believe that Jay-Z denies that this is his kid.
The new lawsuit coming with Jay, the part with Jay. I go, oh shoot, like.
You do not know this man, Rymir Satterthwaite, has spent the last few years being very vocal about the fact that he believes Jay-Z is his father.
This isn't internet gossip. This is a real legal case that's been quietly unfolding behind the scenes for over a decade. And now, after years of sealed filings and strategic delays, the truth is clawing its way to the surface. Even more shocking, 50 Cent is backing the man at the center of it all. And he's not just watching, he's funding the fight. What started as whispers is now a war. Keep watching, because what you're about to hear changes everything. The ruling that cracked the door open. For more than a decade, this case has bounced around the legal system like a pinball. Filed, dismissed, delayed, transferred, and refiled in different courts. At every turn, there seemed to be a new roadblock. Legal arguments about jurisdiction, property ownership, and technical procedures kept the core question from being answered. But now, something major has changed. The courts are finally allowing this case to move forward. This ruling isn't just another date on a calendar. It's the first real opening in a battle that's felt like a locked door for years. And for Rymir, that's a breakthrough. It's not just about a court saying, we'll hear this. It's a signal that the system is finally ready to take a closer look at the claims he's made since his late teens. With this ruling, Jay-Z can no longer rely on legal redirection to delay the inevitable question, is he the father or not? And here's where it gets even more intense. This isn't happening in private anymore. The court's green light has made it a public conversation, inviting the entire world to watch what happens next. The ruling has not only empowered Rymir's legal standing, but also amplified public attention. And when the justice system finally pauses to listen,
Jay-Z allegedly won't give up his DNA to prove that he is not the father of Rymir Satterthwaite.
After years of silence, people pay attention. This isn't just about biology, it's about power, persistence, and the truth finally pushing its way to the surface. Who is Rymir, really? To truly understand the weight of this case, you need to know who Rymir Satterthwaite is beyond the headlines. He's not just a name attached to a legal document. He's a man who's spent nearly half his life searching for one answer. Raised by a single mother who insisted she knew who his real father was, Rymir grew up hearing the same name over and over again. Sean Carter, better known to the world as Jay-Z. At first, it sounded unbelievable, but as he got older, the puzzle pieces started to fit in a way that couldn't be ignored. Rymir isn't asking for a payout, a spotlight, or a last name change. He's asking for confirmation, something that, in any other situation, might be settled with a single test. But instead of clarity, he's faced a system that seems more interested in protecting power than finding truth. Despite limited resources, he's kept pushing, filing paperwork, attending hearings, and even launching public statements when he felt the courts weren't listening.
It's something crazy going on with this case. Honestly, I just want everybody in the world just to keep their eyes open and just watch.
His persistence isn't rooted in revenge. It's driven by a personal need to know where he came from. In a world where legacy means everything, he's not chasing fortune, he's chasing identity, the origin story that won't die. According to Rymir and those who knew his mother, the story begins in the early 1990s. Back then, Jay-Z wasn't a billionaire mogul. He was just an emerging artist trying to make a name for himself in Brooklyn. Wanda, Rymir's mother, said she met him in Philadelphia when she was still a teenager. The two reportedly connected, and he later brought her to New York, where they spent time at his aunt's apartment. Not long after that, He vanished from her life. Wanda soon discovered she was pregnant. With no way to reach Jay-Z and no support from him, she put another man's name, Robert Graves, on the birth certificate. Years later, a DNA test ruled Graves out. That moment changed everything. From that point forward, all roads led back to one man, and the claims started gaining traction. Despite Wanda's passing, her written statements and eyewitness accounts from people close to her have kept the story alive. The deeper you look into this origin story, the harder it is to dismiss, because it's not just a claim, it's a trail that leads back to a time, a place, and a person with a very familiar face. The DNA test that never seems to happen. This is the part that leaves people scratching their heads. If the claim is false, if there's truly no connection, why not take the test? That's been Rymir's simple request all along. A single test could clear the air once and for all. But for over a decade, Jay-Z's legal team has fought against it. They've argued technicalities, questioned court jurisdiction, and even claimed that he couldn't be forced to test because he didn't own property in New Jersey. A claim that Rymir's team later challenged with documented proof. Every delay only makes the public more curious. From the outside, it doesn't look like someone trying to prove innocence. It looks like someone trying to avoid the conversation altogether. And the court filings tell a story of legal moves that seem more about strategy than truth. Each year that passes adds more complexity, more scrutiny, and more frustration for those watching. The legal process has become a maze, and instead of answers, it's delivered more questions. Rymir's side insists they aren't out to embarrass or attack. They've said repeatedly that all they want is clarity. But when clarity is met with silence and legal maneuvering, the story only gets louder. And now that the court is finally willing to hear the case in full, that test, the one that's been dodged, delayed, and defended against, may finally become unavoidable. And when it does, everything could change. Enter 50 Cent. From trolling to full-on warfare. If there's one person who knows how to turn whispers into headlines, it's 50 Cent. At first, people thought he was just joking, taking his usual shots at Jay-Z on social media, but then the tone shifted. Reports surfaced that 50 Cent was personally funding Rymir's legal team.
Like, I didn't make the allegations, I didn't tell people to say these things. It comes out, I see it in the news like everyone else.
And planning to feature his story in a bold new documentary that also touches on other major figures in the music industry. That's when people started realizing this wasn't trolling. This was strategic. 50 Cent isn't just watching from the sidelines. He's turning this paternity case into a major cultural moment, and he's using his own platform to do it. He understands the power of timing, public interest, and staying one step ahead. By putting this story under a massive spotlight, he's applying the kind of pressure that no courtroom delay can escape. This isn't just a personal feud, it's a calculated move to expose the cracks in the carefully protected legacy of a man often seen as untouchable. With 50 in the mix, this case isn't just legal, it's viral, and that makes it impossible to ignore. Whispers around Beyoncé and damage control.
Nobody's gonna say no. You my son, I love you. I'm gonna give you money. I just don't want nobody to know about this. It's easy to manage.
Behind every empire is a team dedicated to protecting it. And according to some sources, Beyoncé's camp may have tried to do just that. Rymir's godmother, Lily, claims that messages were passed to discourage him from speaking out. Phrases like, "Go away, little boy," were allegedly used to downplay his claims. Whether those words were actually spoken or not, their existence in the narrative only fuels public suspicion. Think about what's at stake. Beyoncé and Jay-Z have built a global brand around family, control, and perfection. A story like this, especially one involving questions about a potential child from decades ago, could disrupt that image. And when the image is worth millions, even unconfirmed rumors become a threat. It's not just about one person's reputation, it's about the perception of a power couple. For years, the Carter family has shaped their own narrative through music, philanthropy, and highly curated appearances. But this story cuts through that control, doesn't follow their script. And every time the story resurfaces, people ask the same question. If there's nothing to hide, why has there been so much effort to bury it? The industry tremor, Diddy, lawsuits, and connections unraveling. As this case unfolds, it's impossible to ignore the wider context. The music industry is in the middle of a massive reckoning, with lawsuits and allegations shaking the foundations of once untouchable figures. And while Jay-Z's legal team maintains that this is a personal matter, some people are starting to wonder if there's more to the story than anyone realized. Multiple sources have drawn attention to the shifting relationship between Jay-Z and Diddy. For years, they appeared as close allies, two moguls building empires side by side, but recent events suggest otherwise. Interviews with insiders claim their relationship was more surface level than people assumed. Some even say Diddy was left out of key events, like Jay-Z's wedding to Beyoncé, and that the bond between them may have been more business than personal. Why does that matter? Because with Diddy now facing serious allegations of his own, some are wondering whether evidence from one case could connect to the other. No one's saying Jay-Z is involved in anything criminal, but the timing, the silence, and the long-running legal battles are making people look twice. This isn't just about one man's past, it's about an entire industry's present. And with the public watching closely, every move is under a microscope. What's really at stake?
Baby! That means she was 15 when she got pregnant. Age of consent in Pennsylvania is 17. Was then, is now.
On the surface, this may look like a simple paternity dispute, but it's so much more than that. This is about legacy, image, and the control of narrative in one of the most powerful careers in entertainment history. Jay-Z isn't just a musician, he's a global figure, a brand, a businessman tied to billion-dollar partnerships, and half of one of the most carefully curated couples in modern pop culture. But this story threatens to peel back the polish and reveal a side of his past that's never been addressed in public. For Rymir, the stakes are deeply personal. He's not demanding a payout or trying to hijack the spotlight. His message has stayed consistent. All he wants is the truth. But for Jay-Z, even a DNA test, regardless of the result, could create headlines that last for years. If the result is positive, everything changes. And if it's negative, questions will still linger about why it took so long to settle something that could have been resolved in a single day. There's also the emotional weight. For Rymir, this case isn't just about who fathered him. It's about identity, health, and closure. He wants to know what runs in his bloodline, especially after his mother passed away while fighting for the same answers. Meanwhile, fans, journalists, and legal analysts are all watching to see whether the justice system will treat this like any other case, or if influence and status will once again rewrite the rules. The tension here goes far beyond two people. It's a clash between truth and power, and everyone is holding their breath to see which one wins. So here we are, standing at the edge of what could be one of the biggest turning points in hip-hop history. After years of delay, silence, and legal gymnastics, the pressure is mounting, with the public watching closer than ever, and names like 50 Cent helping keep the spotlight burning. The question is no longer about if Jay-Z will respond, it's when and how. Will he finally take the DNA test and put this to rest once and for all? Or will more legal strategies be deployed to push the truth further out of reach? One thing is certain, Rymir isn't backing down, and the world is no longer turning a blind eye. Every headline, every court filing, and every video like this one keeps the conversation alive. What happens next could reshape how we look at celebrity accountability. It's not about tearing anyone down, it's about transparency, and about whether someone with extraordinary resources still has to answer the same questions the rest of us would face. The truth has waited long enough. If you've been watching this story unfold, tell us what you think. Will the truth finally come out? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that subscribe button, and turn on notifications. Because no matter what happens next, this story is far from over.